I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm gonna tell you something straight off the motherfucking press. I ain't coming for no foolishness.
What is going on? What is going on? Poor City coming right black at y'all. Hope you guys are doing all right out there. All right. Sending a special Pan-African power to each and every one of you guys. Hope you guys are doing all right. Today I won't be on here long. I'm just exposing these fake pretendians. I feel like it's my Pan-African duty to do it, right? These guys are some jive turkeys. And it is deep frying season for these jive turkeys. All right. Nothing personal, but don't be camping out here in these streets because we will spot you, family. So I'm going to cut right to the chase. All right. You got these so-called pretendians, so-called aboriginals, right, that go around here and say, we're not African this, we're not African that. When you say Negro or African, they're really talking about the true Black American Indians or whatever. These cats walk around and they deny any Africanness. They act like this shit was just made up. The white man told us that we were from Africa, right? You know. But anyway, I was looking at one of these cats' videos, man, and it is astonishing at how they try to deceive the family. Yo, it's crazy. I'm gonna try to pull it up. Give me a minute. But yeah, yo, they are funny as hell with this shit. Let's see if I can share my screen for the family. Let's hear some of the ridiculous shit that these guys be saying. And some of the books, family, that they do present as evidence or sources, I don't think they really read them shits. Or if they're reading them, I don't think they're fully grasping a comprehension of them. But we gonna share my screen real quick. Hope you guys are being able to see what I see. Now, for all my TikTok family, y'all have seen this cat before. Him and Lord are really close friends and all this yada yada. You know, he had to get some help. But look at this brother. Is what he's saying. He's quoting or his source is this book right here, Indian Slavery in the Colonial Times Within the Present Limits of the United States. So this is his source, making the claim that we were all indigenous Indians, you know, minding our Indian business, apparently, from what this dude is saying. And he's taking this book. But there's one thing I want you guys to like look at. I'm gonna try to play some of this. He's talking about this and that, and it gets to the point where he cuts the video off when it gets to some really interesting stuff. And I'm like, well, shit, I want to see what that shit's talking about. So let's hear a little bit about this book, Indian Slavery in Colonial Times Within the Present Limits of the United States. And we're gonna go through the part that he didn't want us to see.
Connecticut enslaved captives. You know, we going all the way down to Virginia, North Carolina, right? They said that Indians was generally confined to the South. Indian wars, right? You talking to these natives, don't know what they talking about, man. They don't know what they talking about. Indian wars generally confined to the South, man. Talking about Virginia, Carolina, Florida, Georgia. The process of enslavement. Now that's a good one, okay? That's a freaking good one. We talking about action of Kabai, whatever, how you say his man name. You already know how I am. I'm not good with the names. I'm not good with the names. Frobisher, Weymouth, Harlow, and Hunt. Evidence.
And then real quick, he's just kind of like, going over the book and, you know, setting up his presentation and shit, right? And he gets to one part and he's like, oh, well, I don't want to talk about that. Watch this shit. It's further down.
Evidence of kidnapping in the southern colonies.
Wait for
I
it.
remember I brought up another video. I did a video about this. It was written in the book that they was capturing Cherokee children and then selling them. And he said they was provoking a general Indian war, another war, because they was capturing our children. At this time, a lot of us had already assimilated, but these people, they have the tendency to keep doing and pushing our buttons. You feel me? They have a tendency to just do whatever the French toast they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Just like how they do right now, what they do? Poison you, lie to your face, and then smile and say we all won. How we all won?
Trying to find that part.
Right? All the stuff that's happening in the South. Oh, CO, man. CO to you. CO. Nature of the legislation. All right, let's get it. Let's get the moving. Process of enslavement. That's highly important. Okay. The process of enslavement is highly important to know. And then it's other process of enslavement. We're just going through it. Property relations. Indians in servitude at first held in the status servitude. Status servitude followed by status slavery. We go over there. Methods of employment, right? For the use of Indians, similar throughout the colonies, okay? So your employment would be to hunt, all right? To be a hunter, a fisherman, a guide, a domestic servant. Agriculture, that means you're farming. Craftsman, that means you're crafting something, maybe, creating something like a wielder, or you're creating a tool. Rented like other chattels, right? That means we're being sold like the ones that was in chattel slavery. Laborers in camp, in field, and hold on. Chattel slavery and this right here was basically one and the same.
See that shit? Chattel slavery and indentured servitude was the same thing. And we aren't the Africans, and we're not from Africa. We were just happy old workers.
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Indians.
The way they was treating them during this time is the same. We was getting all treated the same way. I'm pretty sure y'all heard the thing. They all look the same to me. They all look the same to me.
Wait for it, family.
Pretty sure you heard that before, right? A lot of men in the hardcore. Can I get some people to attest in the live chat that y'all have heard that before, right? They all look the same to me. People that's older. Can y'all put that up? Can y'all let me know? People that's older than me. I'm pretty sure y'all heard that before. Some people say they all look the same to me. In peace. You've heard it before? Exactly. What the hell? What were they talking about? For real, man. What you mean?
Now at this point, he ain't really cracked the book open. He's just going over, the first, I guess, the table of contents.
Right? They all look the same. Ooh, and we all the same people. Some of they all look the same to me. That would be weird, right? If they just saying that just because. So you got a proper methods of employment and how basically we were being treated the same as chattel, like chattel slavery. Because of course you're a prisoner or you were an indentured servant and you was being treated the same exact way. All right. Marriage of whites with Indian slaves, right? Forbidden by the following colonies: North Carolina. I hope y'all listening to this. It was illegal for white people to marry us.
Okay, so if here's the setup. So he's a whole Indian. He's reading through the table of contents in the book titled Indian Slavery in Colonial Times Within the Present Limits of the United States. We're not blacks, we're Indians. It gets to the part about Indians, right, in illegal marriages with white folks. So he's saying that, you know, we didn't mix. There wasn't no intermixing with white folks. And we watch this shit.
I hope y'all listening to this because they trying to say that we was mixed. All of us are mixed.
Mixed with Indians have mixed with African ancestry, right? Indians had enslaved Africans. And this is where y'all fuck up at, because y'all don't admit that. Y'all say we was just here. And this is where you get taken out with your own source. Here it comes, the setup.
It's a doggone lie. It's a doggone lie. I keep trying to tell people that. They keep trying to say, oh, no, we're all mixed. That's a doggone lie. First of all, we didn't just sit around and letting people just grape us. We didn't do that. We was killing these people for stealing our land. Y'all think we was just laying around? Just
our land. Look at him now. He's a whole Indian. We wasn't mixing with the white folks.
Letting that stuff happen? No, we wasn't. We wasn't doing that. We wasn't doing that. We was not sitting around just letting stuff happen. Should get that out your mind that we all mixed. Maybe mixed with another tribe. Yeah, maybe mixed with another tribe. For real. So it was illegal for us to marry white people. Even until what, the 1900s, you could see that we was not messing with each other. We had segregated areas. We was not messing with each other like this, man. So you see right here, it says what? The marriage of the whites with Indian slaves forbidden by the following colonies: North Carolina, Massachusetts, right? Regulation of Indian slaves. Each colony settled this matter for itself. Indian slaves included by the implication in all colonial acts relating to slaves, if not specified. The right to give evidence in court. You could not testify in trial of a white person. So they are the judge and the jury.
So to be clear, Indians and enslaved Africans, you know, any Negro at the time couldn't testify against a white man. But he's subscribing to being just the Indian. He don't bring up any, he don't even believe that we're Africans. But he's just setting this whole thing up by this one book, claiming that he identifies himself with an Indian. So when he's reading these table of contents, you know, he's making all of the suggestions of, you know, we were Indians. It was illegal to mix with white folks, yada, yada, this, we're Indian, that, Indian, this. And he gets to a certain part and then he just cuts out. So it's leading up to it now. Thank you guys for hanging in there. But watch this shit, yo.
All right. South Carolina, where you could not do this. North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and New York. So if they accused you, if the person you couldn't testify against a white person. You know how big that is in the court? We talking about the Carolinas, Virginia, Maryland, and New York, where you could not do this at all. That's crazy. Protection of slave and owner rights in the court. The right to life, New Hampshire Act of 1708. The trial of slaves similar to that of the freeman. Chance of slaves obtaining his right in court. Virginia 1692 provided special courts for trial of slaves. Massachusetts provision of 1647. New Jersey Act of 1713. New York Act of 1712. Et cetera, et cetera. We got what? Restrictions and punishment, right? Which is death, branding, whipping, mutilation. So all this stuff that y'all be seeing in the movies, a lot of stuff, man.
Now listen to what this fool about to say. He's a whole Indian. Now listen to what he says, about this shit.
That stuff did happen, but it wasn't Africans that it happened to. They were killing us. They were branding us with hot irons. They were whipping us. They were mutilating us. This is the reason why you see what chained up.
So hold up. All of this was just happening to Indians. What you see in they always claim that all of these movies and stuff that illustrate the history of enslavement is false and all of that stuff. But now he's saying that, well, everything that you saw in the movies didn't happen to Africans, they happened to us Indians. These dudes have lost their African mind about this shit. Now, initially, Indians were enslaved in the Americas, right? But Bartholomew de la Costa suggested that we go to West Africa, and it took the Pope with a bull, a papal bull, to initiate the enslavement of Africans. You had Prince Henry go on the coast of Africa to bring Africans to Lisbon in Portugal. Okay, so I don't know what this brother talking about, but I'm gonna let him carry on.
The posters, or you see depictions of us with an iron collar around our neck, you can see that they used to cut the tendon on our ankles because we were run. You know, we fast runners too. I ain't gonna lie, we some fast runners. So they would cut the tendon that's on our ankle, man. Or they'll tie you to a big old rock, a boulder or something. They would tie you to something with a chain so you can't run if you was known for running. Because a lot of us used to run away. When you look at a lot of these slave posters, they be like, this man ran away for the 11th time, offered $5,000 to go capture that 40-year-old Negro.
More on that later. Yes, we had runaways. I got the newspaper clippings. We're gonna get right back to that, but carry on.
That's what they used to do. They said this man was skilled in carpentry, etc. He knew how to do agriculture. I need somebody to go find him, because what if you was an indentured servant, you had to work off a debt, etc., etc. You know, they the judge and the jury. You can't testify against them. So what? Who? How you gonna win? How you gonna win? How you gonna win that? So you just gonna be doomed. You just gonna be messed up. So if they get to doing and accuse you of something, etc., etc., and they the judge and the jury, then what? They gonna condemn you to working for the rest of your life, or however long they deem you to work for. Think about it. Think about it.
Now watch this shit. Get to this juicy part right here. This is the juice, and he just stopped talking about the whole thing.
You don't understand how messed up that is. You don't understand how messed up that is. And they did that to thousands of us, equating to being millions of us. Don't you understand that? Crazy.
Here we go.
Crazy, man.
Here we go. He was doing good.
So y'all see that? All right, you got a table of contents: the decline of Indian slavery.
Now that's a key point. The decline of Indian slavery. I don't think this brother realized what he was stepping in when he started reading this, and then he did realize it. And he just paused all of a sudden. The decline of Indian slavery sparked the start of African enslavement in the Americas. Okay, Negroes, Africans. Listen to what he's listen to how much of this shit he reads before he realizes that he's putting himself in a ditch, and he just stopped reading about the shit. Watch.
So the decline of Indian slavery, small number of Indians in the English territory, decrease in the number of Indians, decreased birth rates, of course, testings, war, intermingling of Indian and Negro slaves. So let's stop right there.
Let's intermingling with Indian slaves and Negro slaves. Let's stop right there. Whoa. Why do you want to stop right there? Look, he closed the whole shit out. Look at him. Look, fam. He don't want to talk about that. He don't want to talk about that shit. Yo, that is funny. But real quick, I got the book anyway. All right, so we're going to talk about it over here. All right, we're going to go right down to the declining of Indian slaves. And real quick, I'm going to share my screen again because we want to see what you're trying to hide, bro. Why are you trying to hide the Negro part? You know what I mean? What's up with that, bro? All right. Let's go and let's go back to the table of contents, right? So y'all can see what he was trying to hide from y'all, man. Don't let these fools hide all of the information from you. If you're gonna tell it all. Tell it all. Where we at in the table of contents? Give me a minute, family, to try to pull this up. Okay, that look like the beginning of the book. This dude cut off. He closed the whole shit out. He don't want y'all to know. Damn. Come on. Table of contents. My bad, y'all. My bad. All right. So this is the table of contents. He was reading all of this shit, right? You know, because this book mostly talks about Indian slavery, but you had Africans here in this country, fam. African Negroes. You know, he gets all the way down, table of contents, and he just stops right at one of these joints right here, right when it gets all juicy, when they start talking about his real ancestors. He was like, hold up. Whoa. He didn't want to hear anything about Indians intermingling, Indians and the Negroes intermingling. He didn't want to hear that shit. That's what's wrong with y'all jive ass turkeys. Don't pick the book up and don't read the whole thing, bruh. Where is it? Come on now. Don't fail me now. Where you go? Is that it? Where you go? Okay, there you go. There. Look, Negro slavery, page 297. They were talking about Negroes in this Indian book. Imagine that, bro. Imagine that. Here you go, right here. Chapter, what's that? 12. The decline of Indian slavery. Small number of Indians in English territory. The decrease in the number of Indians. Decrease in birth rate. He was reading all of this shit out loud. The susceptibility to disease of whites. Intensive wars. And this is where he got real quiet at. Intermingling, right? Intermingling of Indian and Negro slaves. I wonder what that's talking about, y'all. Let's go, because he don't want to tell y'all about page 287 of this book. I say we go. Let's check the shit out. What I say, give me a minute, yo, because I'm a slow page turner. This dude skipped some juicy shit. I want to see what's going on with the intermingling of the Negro and Indian slaves, bro. Are you denying that Africans and Negroes were enslaved along with Indians in a point of history? I don't never hear you talk about that, bro. Y'all don't talk about that, bro. All right, give me a minute. I'm trying to pull these pages down. I hope y'all can still see. I hope my signal is doing just fine. Where we go? Okay. Is this it? 287. By 1780, all Indian nations of the territory settled by the English in the South were either extinct or had retreated westward and had land united with the neighboring Cherokee and Creeks. At this time, of course, I chew up names too. The Catawba were so reduced that they were possessed, but 70, what did I say? I'm sorry. They were reduced and they possessed, but 70 or 80 men. The Westo and the Savannah were likely reduced from many thousands of small numbers, and the Coromani tribe was particularly destroyed. Okay, let's go down. Okay, here it is right here. Another cause which contributed in a measure to the passing of Indian slavery was an amalgamation of the red and black slaves. Since intercourse and marriage of the slaves were not generally inferred with by whites, it was natural that the slaves of the red and black races should intermingle. What? So this is saying in 1870, I'm sorry, in 1780, you had some intermingling between the red and black races. It's telling you in your book, bro. This your book. Why did you skip this part, homie? I don't understand. Let's read some more. Let's see if it has anything else in here that's juicy. Right? So we learned in your book that there was intermingling. So all of that shit you be talking on your live to these indigenous folks, calling them Mongols and all that shit, y'all had some intermingling with them. Why are you saying shit like that? All right, let's look on page 289 and see what they say on page 289. So here's the separation right here. The various laws already discussed in another connection, and the numerous newspaper advertisement shows Indian slaves to have been as much given to running away as their Negro companions. Right? In fact, it seems not likely that they were more inclined toward trying to escape for the possible chance of returning to their home. People offered greater inductments for such an act. I'm sorry, I'm reading all fucked up. For such an act than in the case of Negroes. Indian slaves as well as Negroes were implicated in the various slave disturbances which occurred from time to time in different colonies. Though there seemed no evidence that Indians were usually more instrumental than Negroes in creating these disturbances, yet their infrequent participation in such events tended to lower the colonialist estimates of their value and led to the definitive legislation seeking by the primitive measures and by decreeing severe punishments in the case of conspiracies or uprisings to avoid the dangers which the colonists feared. So basically they were saying right here that, yo, these red and black folks, the Indians and the Africans are intermingling. And there was a fear from the colonialists. This sparked fear because, that's when you had populations of Africans and Indians growing together, working together in some instances, and you see what you call a correlation between the two. It says legislation regarding slave conspiracies and uprisings was generally thought out the English colonies from an early date. And some of these acts, Indian slaves were expressly mentioned. And others, they were included by implication in the general term slaves or in the expression Negroes. So they're telling you there's a clear difference between the two. I don't understand what the misunderstanding is between they were all types of people that was here. Not, you had Indians separate from Negroes. They're telling y'all this in the book. Let's move on. Let me see. All right. I ain't gonna keep y'all long, but these dudes be capping. They don't want to talk about any of this shit that's in this book. So they were intermingling between Indians and black folks. So that's why you get this Afro-Indigenous, Afro-Indian shit, right? That y'all are talking shit about. These different populations that came out of what was going on in these colonial times, and y'all have the audacity to talk shit about these people. All right, I'm trying to look and see. Let's see if we got some more juicy stuff in here in your book, right? I ain't even got out my sources yet. I'm debunking y'all shit. And it says, okay, it talks about the number of Indians. That's not what I want to read. This is talking about Indians. Imported, but there is a section on here that I want y'all to see. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Go. Okay, October 16, 1718. Furthermore, it was decreed that no greater duty was to be demanded on any slave brought into the colony directly from Africa by a ship of Great Britain than was to be demanded from the vessels wholly owned by inhabitants of the colony. In June 1726, on every Indian, Negro, or mulatto slave, male or female, of 4 years of age or upwards, imported by land or water from all places other than Africa. It talks about different people. It doesn't say Negroes are Indians or vice versa. It's clearly telling you there's different people. We're talking about the Indians, Negroes, or mulattoes. Okay, so you had a mulatto population that came out of these whatever you want to call them, mingling. You know, you had some mingling going around still to this day. And out of that mingling, you have different groups of population, but you cannot deny their Africanness. All right. I done read Africa a couple of times in this book. I done read Negro a couple of times in this book. It's funny that some of these cats get these books and I don't think they really read the good juicy part right here. I think this is really good juicy part right here. This is the good shit. I don't know why he left that out. Most of the time when these so-called black aboriginal, whatever y'all want to call yourselves, y'all get these old books and y'all don't look at these books, man. Y'all just get them and y'all read y'all part, but y'all leave out a whole lot of African history that are in y'all books. It's funny to me. It is real funny. So I'm looking here. I ain't trying to miss no juicy stuff out this book, man. Why you cut that off, bro? Why you do that, man? Let's talk about the intermingling. He cut that shit off, didn't he? All right, let me see if I can find something else. It's getting late. I'm shooting this video late. The Maryland Act of 1717, in the case in point, it provided that the court should value the slave Negro, mulatto, or Indian in tobacco, and that 3/4 of the value thus adjusted or adjudged should be allowed in the public levy to be paid to the owner of the slave. They're talking about 3 different people here. Okay, in the book that you brought up, that you thought this book only talked about Indians, right? In all of the colonies, the conduct of Indian slaves as well as that of the other slaves was necessarily subject to police regulations and punishment or the decree of the violation. The regulations did not differ greatly in the variation of colonies, or the problem of arising from the use of slaves varied by the little in nature. Among the prohibitions laid on Indian slaves specifically were the following: to be away from home without owner's permission, and possessions of firearms. Yeah, they had same laws. You know, Indians was subjected to a lot of the same shit that Africans was. Africans got the longer shit end of that stick, though. They weren't selling alcohol to Indians, and they weren't selling alcohol to free black men or enslaved black men. So some of these laws did correlate, but there's a clear distinction between the people, right? They're talking about at this time Negroes, comma, mulattoes, or Indians. It didn't say Negro Indians or any of that stuff that y'all are trying to claim. I don't know what's going on with y'all turkeys, man. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen because I think that's enough. So in that book, it talks about intermingling of Negroes, and it talks about how they was dealing with that shit, how they was going to deal with it in the colonies, and this new race of people, the mulattoes, because you had a mixture of different people in this country, and to deny the Africanness in it is just losing your African mind. So if y'all gonna get these books, man, make sure y'all read them good, because I can teach African history out y'all books, man. Straight up. I saw Negro in there several times. African is in there several times, all of that. All right, family. But I'm not going to stay too long. I hope that was enough. But that's how you spot a pretendian. You know what I'm saying? These cats don't understand. They don't read these books like they say they do. I like how he cut off when he was like, yeah, intermingling between Indian and Negro slaves. And he's like, I'm going to stop that. That's enough, ladies and gentlemen. But as you can see here, that's a good quote by Earth Speaks, right? As you can see here, right? That book talked all about the intermingling between Africans and Indians, two different people. Your book illustrated that for us. All right, fam. So y'all got to do better. All right, fam. I'm going to actually look in that book a little bit more later, and we'll have a little presentation about it later. But I just want to show y'all that sometimes these cats don't be reading. He said that, the stuff that you saw in movies, it happened, but it didn't happen to the Africans. It happened to us. Bro, in this book, it said all of us got the shit end of the slavery stick, bro, Indians and Africans. So why are you trying to separate the two? Or I'm sorry, why are you trying to cut off one from the other? Indians got history, Africans got history, and we got history together. Sometimes the history was good, and a lot of times it was bad, but it's our history, both. And stop denying it, family. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and share some of this information. I just was freestyling a little bit off of their sources. It's always fun. All right, and if you want to support the channel, go ahead and go to poorcity.com, get you something nice. And with the information and stuff like that, I don't mind y'all cash apping me at all. Okay, so I put it out there for y'all. Okay, but I'm gonna come right back at y'all with this African history, culture, and greatness. After a while, I'm staying up late tonight. Y'all will see this video sooner or later. So I'm gonna exit my screen and I'll holler at y'all later. You know what I'm saying, family? Y'all stay awesome for me. Can y'all do that? Can y'all do that? I'll close y'all out with the intro music. Peace, family. Talk black to you later.